Hey, Brooks, what is this music, buddy? This sounds like early 80s European.
This is definitely. I was about to say this is definitely like 80s, kind of like a punk rock vibe. I like it.
I like it too.
It reminds me of like a movie, like a movie in the 80s, nighttime.
Yeah, European Vacation when Rusty goes to the risque dancing
Yeah,
place.
that's exactly the vibe I get.
I don't know. I just hit a button and this is what popped up. So let's get our faces on the screen here.
Let's do it. I'm waiting for you.
All right. There's only one of me. I got so many buttons on this thing. But how you doing, man? Good to see you.
We're back. We're back. We made it through another week. We lived to see another week of football. Been a good couple weeks too. I'm excited.
Awesome.
Very excited. I think we might have missed one play. I don't know about Scotty. I don't remember what plays he gave out, but I think I might have missed one play last week. Something like that. So, yeah, it's a good way to, it's a new audience. It's a new eyeballs. I think we had a lot of eyeballs last week on the show, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did.
Nice.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
yeah, it's I'm always happy to come out of the gate hot when there's new eyeballs on me. You know, people that have been following me for a while, I can have a bad week, and they know it's not really me. They know it's not normal. But, for new people, you know what they say, first impressions mean everything, right?
They do, and you were 4-0 in week one, weren't you? Or at least on college, right?
College 4-0, and then we lost the Ravens game.
Okay.
And then last week, I think we were 5-1. So I think, well, the thing with last week that was weird was I gave out that San Diego State game, and I said there's multiple ways to play it. I said you could play San Diego State on the spread, or what I'm doing is taking the Colorado State team total under.
I remember
So that was kind of like a washout because San Diego State did cover the spread, but Colorado State scored a few more points than we expected them to. So that was really my only loss of the week last week on the plays that I'm giving out on when I speak to the audience on the shows. And damn, AJ, you just look so much crisper than me, guys. I'm working on my technology here.
Dude, it's in your head. You look fine, bro.
It's not. You'll see. I'll
Dude,
show
look
you.
At me. I look hideous. I look like the fucking elephant man. So we want my video to not be so crisp. But no, I think you look good, man.
It's crisp, but okay.
I think it's in your head. As long as your picks come out, you could be doing this in a dark alley with 14 crackheads standing around you, offering you favors for hits. It doesn't make a difference. That's
kind of sounds like my job. To be very honest with you,
sounds like a good episode.
Just change the word crackhead to degenerate gamblers, and a lot of times I feel like I'm in a dark alley with 14 degenerate gamblers offering me favors for hits.
Have you ever been in it? Have you ever been with a bunch of crackheads? It's the same feeling. I've been both places.
I have not been with a bunch of crackheads. In my younger partying days, I've been around people doing similar stuff, but not actually smoking crack. No.
You got to do. You got to try anything. I'm not telling you to try crack. I'm just telling you to be around these people. You'll have stories.
I did have someone that worked in my office years ago who turned out to be a crackhead, and one of my other guys in the office found the crack pipe. It was a pretty crazy story. But in this business, in this industry, you run into that type of stuff sometimes. Sometimes you don't know until you know. And then, you gotta, I don't have room for that here, but sometimes you don't know till you know. And he was good too. He could pick them. He could pick them, except for when he didn't show up for 3 days in a row. And that's when you wonder what's going on there. And then I realized it was the crack.
But they're everywhere, buddy. I was in a business for years with your old man, and we dealt with lots. And literally everyone we dealt with, for the most part, was a crackhead in that business.
Really?
Call centers? Heck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah. And the worst crackheads were the best employees when they actually worked.
So there's something about addicts and phone rooms They just go very well together. Like, if you know, they always say if you're going to start a phone room type business, go to the rehabs and hire right out of rehab. Because I think what it is, and that's why a lot of I have a lot of customers who are former addicts. And I have a couple customers that actually own rehabs now who are former addicts. But one thing that I learned from them is that the high from that win, is similar, and that's why they like betting on sports, because they get that, that high. Whereas, like, let's say you're at a blackjack table, you're going to get so many hands that the high isn't the same. But if you have, one big game for the night, you're getting that hit, and then But that's the problem. The personality type devolves into not treating it like a business, betting everything on the board. But if they can stay focused, crackheads, they have something in them that allows them to not give up, because when they're looking for that hit of crack, they don't give up, right? They do whatever they can. So if they can harness that energy into something positive things can happen. But
Okay, can we just put his head? Just say no, people. Just say no. That's all.
yeah, crack's whack, guys.
Yeah, just
I'm not promoting crack at all here. But yeah, man, I'm excited for this week. I did some searching online, because I was seeing a lot of videos. It's not just this week, but over the last couple of months, sports betting, it seems like this season more than ever before, there's rampant conspiracy theories going around social media about the NFL rigging games, this group rigging games, that group rigging games. And I'm going to pull up two of the videos that really gave me an aha moment. So these two videos were like, whoa, like this is what's like millions of people are consuming this information. And, I was talking to Scotty about it yesterday before the show that we do. And it was like, he was like, well, just ignore it. And I'm like, yeah, we can just ignore it. We know it's stupid, but there's millions of people on social media consuming this just complete garbage. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about conspiracy theories when it comes to the government and all that stuff. I love digging into that, but this is just nonsense. I'm going to share the screen really quick and pull up this first video here. Let's do this.
Oh, hang on. I gotta put your screen on screen.
Right. Okay. Boom. Let me know when you can see it.
I got it. Put us on the side. But haven't people been complaining about this for years?
That's the thing.
In the NFL.
That's the thing. People have been complaining about this for decades. But the problem is, now that you got people on social media, these videos, they go viral and it becomes like a bigger thing than it really is. And these two videos I have, I'm excited for this to be able to pop up, because these two videos I have are perfect examples of the issue. Well, let me know when I can play it.
You can play it. Something went whack here. You got to bring that video back up. You're sharing the screen. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Okay. Is it big enough?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
The sound's whacked, but so help us out. I see what we're looking at, but we're not really getting the sound to come through. So what are they? Are they voicing over this thing or no?
So yeah, he's voicing over the video, basically saying that the game was fixed for the Jags, and this is all choreography, and the NFL is all fake, and all of sports it's an entire theatrical production. And then he shows that one long pass he showed by Trevor Lawrence. He goes in, what do you know? They're slicing and dicing the defense. Like, you think that, like, it's easy to make that throw and catch? Like, you think that those type of things, these people, Like they've clearly never played sports. They clearly, I don't know if they just started watching sports or what, but these things have been like, it's sports. I mean, it's part of sports, are crazy plays, bad calls. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I think that there are potentially referees that are, more one-sided than another? Of course, there might be referees that lean one way. Real quick, I just want to play the second video, and it's essentially, I don't know if it's going to bring sound. If it's not, I'll stop pretty quickly. But essentially, the second video is the same thing, but saying the opposite. The second video is saying that the game is they're trying to fix the game for the Chiefs. So in this video, the guy's saying the refs are fixing it for the Chiefs. Check it out. No sound, I'm assuming.
This sounds muffled. We'll be better next week, people. We'll download these and not screen share them. But luckily he's got, it's my brain is fried this morning. It's transcribed, so you can see what the hell he's saying on the video there.
Yeah.
But Ted, they're only screaming about the sports that they're betting their left testicles on.
Say that again?
They're only screaming on the sports that they're going all in on. And that's why they're bitching and moaning and complaining, because no one likes to admit, all right, I lost. It's always someone else's fault. That's the culture that we live in. So it's easy to blame. Have the Chiefs gotten the benefit of calls over the last few years?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. So now, all of a sudden, like the guy that made the first video, now he's saying they're trying to fix the game for the Jags. Okay, so what is your reasoning? Why all of a sudden, okay, we get it, the Chiefs, they've definitely been, the refs definitely helped the Chiefs out a lot. I think their first Super Bowl against the Eagles, I think that late hit call against Mahomes wasn't a good call at all, and I don't think it should have been a call, and that's essentially what propelled the Chiefs to win that game. But the thing is, AJ, you can do this for any game. You can find bad calls, bad plays, and I just wish it would stop. I mean, it's filling up my feed more and more. And the thing is, I guess people consume it because it just pumps into the algorithm more and more and more, and it's like clickbait. It's just, guys, listen. There is not a massive conspiracy to choreograph football games. It just doesn't exist. And are there guys like Tim Donaghy, the NBA referee, who got in trouble for fixing games he was betting on? Yeah, I'm sure that's happened in the past, and I'm sure that there's a chance it happens again. But overall, it's nonsense and it needs to stop. Speaking of, did you see Division I athletes in college sports are now allowed to bet on professional sports?
Oh, I did not see that.
It's probably going to go into effect on November 1st. It's been passed for Division I, Division II, and Division III have not voted on it yet because those are separate bodies, separate organizations. But yeah, they're going to start letting college kids who are athletes bet on NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL.
What's wrong with that, though? I don't see anything wrong with that.
Nothing.
If they're not participating in the contest,
nothing.
Get away.
I personally think that anybody who is an athlete, pro, college, whatever, should be able to bet on any sport besides the sport that they play. So, if you're a NBA player, I think you should be able to bet on football and baseball.
Yeah, for sure. And they are, because and a few people have been popped from betting through, I'm betting through my brother. So my brother's betting, and some people have been popped, but you got to realize that for every guy that gets popped, there's 10 that don't.
Right.
And I'm not saying they're fixing games. As long as they're not, I don't even care if Joel Embiid wants to bet on the NBA. He just can't bet on his team
or against his team.
Especially
against his team.
More than betting against. I don't care if Joel Embiid, Pete Rose, Aaron Judge, anyone else, Patrick Mahomes wants to bet on their team. That shows me that they're out there to win.
They're out there to win, right?
About it. Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah.
betting on
I
themselves.
think I agree. Unless someone is betting against themselves or betting against their team, I think everything else should be wide open. But I do think that like if you are actually betting against yourself or your team, I think you should immediately be expelled from the league forever. So it should be like one really harsh punishment for one specific thing, and everything else is allowed. And I think you avoid a lot of issues. And you know, you do have a lot of that. It's funny. You'll have like a guy like Otani's, interpreter paying millions of dollars. This guy's Matthew Boyer. I don't know if you've seen him. He's been doing he's about to go to prison, but he did like a pre-prison podcast tour.
Oh, did he really? Wish we would
And
have had them.
his whole goal was he wanted to get on as many podcasts as possible before he went away, because he's only going away for like a year or whatever. He wanted to get as many podcasts as possible before he went away, so that there were a bunch of clips of him going around the whole time he was away, so that he can continue creating sports betting content when he gets out, and kind of like his career is going to be launching while he's in prison, because all those podcast clips are going to be circulating that from the shows he did before he went away. So that's like his whole strategy. And his whole thing is like he knew, like he swears it was Otani. Have you seen it?
I believe it. I believe
Yeah.
it. This case was wrapped up so quickly, and this guy was, in my opinion, I don't have these facts, but my opinion, I'm no spring chicken. I've been around the block. He took the fall. He got paid to take the fall because Otani is the face of baseball. Just like where LeBron can do no wrong because he's the face of the NBA, Otani's the face of baseball. So they quickly swept this thing under the rug. The guy pled guilty. He's going to do a year. He stole millions of dollars, and he's going to do a year.
Well, the guy I'm talking about doing the year is the bookie.
Oh, not the interpreter?
I don't know how long the interpreter got.
Okay.
I don't know. It might be a year also. I'm not
Okay.
I'm not positive at all. But yeah, I was talking about the bookie. But the bookie has a cool story. He said, he's like, the interpreter started only betting a couple thousand, maybe a $50,000 line of credit, and then he just kept paying them when he just kept losing, paying them, and asking for a credit extension, and eventually it got into the millions, and that's when he knew, okay, this has to be. And he didn't even know at first it was Otani's interpreter. I think it was like a buddy that put him in touch with him. I think they were like hanging out one night, and I think he might have like met him or gotten a call from him or something. He got off and he goes, the buddy that introduced him, he goes, you know who that is, right? And he didn't know, and it was Otani. But yeah, man, I just think that, in the United States, we have some of the, or we used to before they lifted the ban in 2015, but such tight laws around sports gambling, and it's kind of silly because it's, there's a lot worse things like crack that you could be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, let's get into some games, man. So, 2 weeks on this show, 2 successful weeks on this show. If you guys want to know where to get more, or how to get more, or how to dig a little bit deeper, or how to get in touch with us, I want you to go to my Instagram channel. It's the THE _ profits, PROPHETS _ pick, no S after pick. So you could go there. We have a channel. It's called the Broadcast Channel. If you join that channel, it's right on the Instagram bio. If you join that channel, you'll get all of the daily free plays that we put out. I shouldn't say all. We only usually put out one per day. But you'll get those. And then any other special promotions or anything that we're doing, you will get those also. So make sure you guys check that out. AJ, I'm excited. You said you have one pick for me today.
I do. I have one pick because
don't tell me yet.
All right, but can I tell you where I screwed up last week? I bet my team.
FAU finally covered?
Besides that one.
Okay. The 49ers?
The 49ers. And I always, my first rule is never bet with your heart and never bet on your own team. And then I go and I bet against my own team. What does this tell you for the Rams? The 49ers basically fielded you, me, kicking it back with Matt, Defoe, Ken LaVecca, Jr., because everybody's hurt. And they beat the Rams. What does that tell you about the Rams? Tell me more about the Rams than the Niners at this point. in LA, no less.
They got issues. You know, the thing about it is like it really tells me, and I don't want to be like a pull the alarm type of guy, but it might tell me more about Brock Purdy than anything else, actually, because like this guy's the big paycheck guy. He got the big paycheck and all that stuff, and he's not getting the job. Well, he's kind of hurt, whatever. He's out, and Mac Jones is coming in and doing probably just as good as he could be doing. So it's like now, it's like, is Mac Jones the guy?
But
You know what I mean?
Weapons. Neither one of them have any weapons. Kittle out. Ayuk out. Who else is out? I mean, I don't know if CMC is at 100% or not at 100%.
He's getting the job. He's on my fantasy team. He's putting up over 20 every week, but that doesn't mean he's 100% at all.
Yeah, I don't know. That's where I screwed up. So I'll never put out a Niner pick again. And yeah, FAU somehow. And we got the lowdown last night on our show. We had Ken LaVicka on. Do you know who LaVicka is?
I don't want to be rude and say I don't, but I'm going to be honest and say I
you
don't.
Probably know him if you hear him. He's the voice of FAU football, the voice FAU basketball, but he's also the English voice of Inter Miami. He's on ESPN, CBS, Paramount. I mean, the guy is everywhere. And we really got into some FAU football last night and FAU basketball, and they can score a bunch of points. And that's where I'm going with my pick this week, because both of these teams are they're crap. They give up a lot of points, but they do score points. And
I gave that over last week, AJ, on your recommendation.
We got a 69.5 over under this week. And I love it, because we did all this on the show last night. We're figuring 82, 85 points in this game. Neither one of them can play defense, but they both can score.
You know, one great bet that you don't go wrong is you go over high totals and under low totals. A lot of people, they'll see a 37-point total in the NFL, and it'll scare them, and the teams will, the final score will be 10-7.
Mm-hmm.
Or in college, you'll see these big totals with these big offensive schools that don't really have defenses, like this game right here, and someone won't go over just because the number's so high. And guys, I can't tell you like enough. Don't be afraid. Like, these numbers are set for a reason. Don't be afraid of big numbers. Now, one big number that I do not like are these big spreads, because, a lot of times what happens with these big spreads is the team will come out hot and then they'll kind of die off or slow down in the second half of the game, because they already have like a 28, you got like a 45-point spread. The team's up 31 already at half. You could think, okay, well, they're on pace to win by 61, but not really. They're going to slow it down. They're going to pull players. So whenever I see a big spread like that, not necessarily a big total, but a big spread, I like to just look at the first half line and say, okay, well, if this spread's 45 and the first half spread is 23.5, I'd rather go over 23, or take the spread 23.5 minus 23.5 the first half. So that's the way I look at it. So your pick is the over in the FAU game.
My pick is the over, and I'm going to give, and I've given out this pick for weeks now, and I've lost the last 2 weeks on this pick, but it's still my monster pick. Bet it every week, Messi.
Okay.
He had 3 assists last week. So you can also bet Messi to have assists or goals, but he had no goals last week. He had no goals the game before that. Now here's the conundrum. Messi has to play for Argentina Friday night. Luckily, the game was moved out of Chicago because of ICE and all the riots and everything that's going on. But they moved it down to Chase Stadium, where Inter Miami plays. So if this game wasn't moved, Messi wouldn't be playing for Inter Miami.
They moved it from Chicago all the way to Florida.
Oh, wow. It down here. Messi's got that kind of pull, bro. So he's going to play for Argentina Friday night. Inter Miami plays their final home game ever at Chase Stadium, final regular season home game at Chase Stadium on Saturday night. And then I believe Messi has to play again Monday night in Inter Miami. So the thought is, from talking to LaVicka, who's the English voice Inter Miami, and I think I'm the only guy that watches or pays attention to Inter Miami that doesn't speak Spanish. So he's like my own personal broadcaster. That's why I consider him. He's doing it for me because ain't nobody else listening in English. But the idea, and I agree with him, is that Messi will sit the first half Saturday night, but play the second half. Because the thing with Messi is he does not come out of games. He will not let a coach take him out of a game. So the only way to give him any rest is don't start him, bring him in as a sub. And I've seen them do this a few times this year. And there was one game, Messi was in the game 30 seconds, scored a freaking goal.
So you're saying that you think that there's a better chance of giving him there's a better chance of him getting a goal when he's subbing than when he's starting.
Well, no. It is always a great chance of Messi scoring a goal because he drives everything. I mean, last week he chose to assist, and they had a big game. They won. I think they won 4-1 or 5-1. Messi was in the middle of everything, but he didn't score. I've seen times where they've rested him so they don't start him because he's old. He needs the rest, but Messi has an ego. Messi is still 36 or 38, whatever he is. He's still the best player in MLS. I mean, he runs circles around everybody else.
Right.
But I think the way to rest him is they don't start him. And Levica agreed with this. You don't start him. You just bring him in the second half. So he gets 45 minutes to go out there, play. The game still has meaning to Inter Miami. They need to win to get some home field advantage.
Now, is the Argentina game a World Cup qualifier?
They're hard to keep up with, and I don't even. Yeah, I think it is, but I think they have a qualification already, so I don't know. We talked about this last night. Soccer is just look. If you zero in on MLS, it's pretty simple. If you zero in on EPL, it's pretty simple. But when you start playing for these Champions Cups and all of these other Gold Cups and you break on these international breaks, which all of soccer around the world right now is on an international break, except for MLS. And what's going on with Inter Miami right now is they're making up games because they went so far in the Gold Cup, and then they went so far in the other cup, which was the FIFA Cup, whatever it was, like the Preview World Cup. I forget what the name of that one was. So they're tired. They've played a lot of games. That's why they've got 7 games in 9 days or something the last 2 weeks. But with all that being said, this game has meaning to Inter Miami, so Messi will be in there at some point, and I'm pretty sure he's going to score.
So he's playing for his home country Friday, and then for Inter Miami
Saturday. Yeah,
okay.
That's planned, and then back to Argentina, I think on Monday or Tuesday. But these are all at Chase Stadium, so he doesn't have to travel. He doesn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah,
playing a lot of games at one time.
Yeah, just the drive of a car. Well, listen, man, I don't know much about that soccer, but I know a shitload about college football. I'm going to break some games down.
Give it, baby. Give it.
Today. First one's going off here tonight, Jacksonville State versus Sam Houston. Sam Houston's a +8 a +8 line here, and they have not won a game. They have not covered a spread or won a game. They're bad, right?
Okay.
Now, sometimes you got to bet on a bad team and hold your nose. I'm going to have to do that here. But Sam Houston. Oh, one more thing about Sam Houston. They've lost every game this year by 17 points or more. But here's the thing. 4 out of the 5 games they've played have been on the road. They're coming back home for a couple games in a row. And Jacksonville State, they're a very, 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 very bad road team. They have a couple wins this year. They're 2-3, but both of those wins have been at home for Jacksonville State. And Jacksonville State has failed to cover 4 out of the last 5 on the road. So I think this line here, +8 for Sam Houston, might actually be at 7 now. Let me just take a peek really quick. Yeah, Sam Houston's a flat 7 across the board. It was 8. It opened at 9, and it's come all the way down to 7. So I really think that that Sam Houston's the play here. So I'm playing Sam Houston +8. That's tonight. And here's one thing I want to tell.
Would you take him at +7? Would you take him? I know you're going to buy up, but would you take him at +7?
I would at least get it to 7.5.
Okay.
I never play anything on 7. I'm always either playing 6.5 or 7.5, just because why play for the tie? You know what I mean? Okay. Now, here's the thing, guys. You know, with games like this, it's really hard for odds makers to get everything right. it's easy for them to set a bad number just based on past results, based on past performance. So, and that's how the public bets. The public doesn't look at matchup dynamics. They don't look at, one team's passing defense, rushing defense, EPP, which is efficiency per play, all these different numbers. They don't really look at it. So I think sometimes when it comes to big Saturday boards or even like smaller Thursday or Friday boards where the odds makers have a lot to worry about, they're human too, and they make mistakes also. And I just think that this line is a little bit of a mistake here. I think it should be like 4 or 5. So I like it. Plus, last thing, Jacksonville State is 8th in the nation in rushing offense and 130th in the nation in passing offense. So now that teams are able to see that, they can say, okay, these guys are really good at running the ball. They're terrible at passing. Let's stack the box, stop the run, force them to pass, and hopefully this QB throws 3 or 4 picks. And now you guys, Sam Houston can be a live dog if that happens.
Now,
So,
is that a prop that you'd look at on the picks?
not in this particular game, not necessarily. I have a whole different system that I look at for props.
Okay.
I'll tell you what my prop system is showing in this game. If you give me 1 second.
And while you're looking at that, I'll say this. This is one of the things I dig about you and the sports profits. You're taking it's not an obscure game, but it's not one of the big ones, and it's not one of these blaring punch in the faces where, oh yeah, this is all right, no problem here. You're kind of going out on a limb here.
That's what we do, man. And that's why people either love us or hate us. Because some people, they sign up, they want those big plays, and when we tell them that we're not on those, they get a little upset. But then other people, I'll give them a game like that, and they'll say, wow, Teddy, I would have never in a million years even looked at that game. So thank you so much for that.
You can't be stupid if you're a sports bettor and you're going to TED and you're going to Sports Profits and you're paying for their picks. Who cares? I wouldn't care. If I was giving you my money, if you told me bet on a chicken across your road at 4:00 in the morning, I'm going to do it. I don't care where you're making me money. Just make me money. That's what you guys do, and that's why I dig it, and that's why we're doing this.
Absolutely. So let's move on to Friday.
You got any chicken bets?
What's that?
You got any chicken crossing the road bets or no?
Oh, no, but we do. You mentioned my pops earlier. You probably remember when I used to travel to Puerto Rico a lot for him way back in the day, 20 years ago now. Wow. Can't believe it was so long ago. But that being said, there were cockfights, and you could bet on them. I don't know if you've ever been, but there were cockfights. There were cockfights, and you could bet on them. Real quick, let me just run through Friday because this game I don't really have a lot of breakdown on. You got North Texas and South Florida. You got 2 really solid 4-1 teams here. North Texas arguably has the best 1-2 running back duo in the country. South Florida has a great dual threat quarterback. I was just talking about stuff like this earlier when you mentioned that FAU over. The total here is 68. I'm going over on this one. Not, like I said, not much analysis. I just think it's going to be a shootout, back, forth, kind of like you feel about that FAU game.
Okay. Hey, you got a lot of shuffling background noise going on there, just FYI.
You hear it right now?
No, when you're moving around.
It's my paper. Sorry.
Okay. That's good. I just wanted to let you know.
I'll keep it away from the computer. Now, here's my favorite play of the week. You have Old Dominion facing Marshall. Old Dominion is a 14-point favorite, and these are the games why I love college football. It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about odds makers just having problems being able to keep track of everything, right? They're on 100 different games on a Saturday. They can't be perfect on everything. Yes, they have the help of computers, but at the end of the day, the human beings make decisions on these lines. You got this Old Dominion team. Their quarterback, Colton Joseph, has looked incredible. They're putting up 36 points a game average. They're giving up 14 points a game average. I think this is one of those overlooked teams, AJ, that you were just kind of mentioning earlier, how, what we do is we find these teams that people aren't paying attention to. And this is one of them. And Marshall's defense, they cannot stop anything. They couldn't stop a Tesla. I mean, I think they're giving up in their 3 losses this year. I think they gave up a combined like 100 and I want to say like 150 or 160 or something crazy, like 40 some points, 50 points, and 40. All 3 losses over 40 points given up. They can't stop anything. I'm all over Old Dominion here. I'm buying this one to 13.5. And here's a little kicker for this game. Marshall is coming off their last loss, a double overtime loss. I love fading teams coming off of double, triple overtime losses. If your team went to multiple overtimes and lost the game, I am automatically, there should be a website that has a list of those teams. I don't, to my knowledge, there's not. I think that'd be a good feature on a website. What teams went to double overtime or triple overtime last week and lost? I love fading those teams, AJ. I love it. So that's another little added cherry on top of the cake for this Old Dominion Marshall play. And they're all reasons why I'm going to slam Old Dominion. They're on the road, too. I don't care. I'm going to be all over them here. And I'm going to take them at the 13.5 number because, you're only paying an extra 10 cents to move it from 14 to 13.5. So why not do it? That's my theory there. Some people disagree, but I could care less.
I got a question on a game for you.
Yes.
When you have a second. Navy Temple.
Oh,
It's only 9.5 minus Navy. Navy minus 9.5. Navy. Last year we rode Army for weeks and weeks and weeks before the odds makers caught on that Army was a machine last year. Navy looks like that machine this year, and 9.5 over Temple seems like a pretty good score to me.
Awesome. Yeah. So the line opened up at 7.5, 8, depending on the website.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much a flat 9.5 across the board right now. Got to see where the public money is. It looks like a good play, AJ. What time is the game?
That is a 4 o'clock on Saturday. And in the Florida Atlantic UAB line also has come down to 5.5. It was 7.5 Florida Atlantic.
I'm looking at a couple different things here.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna.
All right, so
yeah.
So yeah, at DraftKings, you got the public on Navy, and at Circa, which is a very sharp book for an American Vegas sports book. Circa is one of the sharpest. The sharpest books are always going to be offshore, but for an American book, Circa's sharp.
What is it that makes the offshores sharper than the American?
The people who are betting on them, like these American books, all these Joe Blows that don't know shit about sports betting are betting on a lot of these American books.
Okay.
Whereas, if you're taking your time to move your money offshore, you're probably somewhat sharper. And then, a lot of professionals, people that moved out of the States just to be able to bet on these sites like full time and make that their full income and full living. They bet on there. So that's what makes it sharper. It's just a lot of the Joe Blow money that comes in with, now that sports betting is so popular and everything, kind of takes away from the sharpness of some of these other books. This big matchup here, Indiana versus Oregon, number 7 versus number 3. I'm a huge Curt Cignetti fan. I think possibly my favorite coach in college football. This is another game, AJ, where both of these teams, their coaches are both from the Nick Saban tree. I want you to think about something for a second. Out of the top 25 teams, I think you got Indiana at number 7, Curt Cignetti, Nick Saban protege. Mm-hmm. Oregon at number 3, Dan Lanning, Nick Saban protege. Georgia, I don't know where they're ranked, somewhere in the top 10. Kirby Smart, Nick Saban protege. Miami, Mario Cristobal, another top 5 team. I don't know where they're ranked 2, 3, somewhere around there. Mario Cristobal, Nick Saban protege. There's got to be one or two I'm forgetting. Nick Saban, I think his proteges, his coaching tree, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, consists of 6 of the top 15 college football programs right now.
Wow.
That's I mean, it doesn't really that's pedigree, and that's an impressive number. But so you got 2 Nick Saban proteges going up against each other in this game. I just think that, both of these teams, they can light up the scoreboard. They're high scoring offenses. Indiana's offense, they kind of burst out on the scene last year with this new head coach, Kurt Signetti, and they were averaging 38.3 points per game. This year, they're averaging 47.8 points per game. So they're that much better.
Wow.
They're kind of firing more on all cylinders. And I just think this is a big statement game here. I think that, this line is way too big. This is another, if this line were 3 or 4, I would probably just stay away from the game. But to get 8 points as a number 7 great Indiana team, I'll take those points all day long. I will take them, and I will run to the bank with them. It's just, to me, anything over a touchdown in a game like this, I'm on all day long.
Now I'm looking at, and I'm just on one book. Obviously I got an odd shop here, but I got Indiana at plus 7.5. And I get the over under here at 55.5. Now, if you're telling me that they're scoring 47 points a game, is the over looking like?
They haven't, Oregon's a top 5 team.
Mm-hmm.
The defense is going to be a different class. But yes, so what I would say is actually seems low and kind of scary. I would want to see like a 60, 61 total. So sometimes, like in sports betting, when something's too good to be true, it usually is. So 55 just seems low to me. I would expect like a 61, because both of these offenses, they're high-flying offenses. They both put up, I mean, the Indiana averages 47. Even if Oregon averages only 30 points a game, that's 77 right there. So it's kind of weird. I think that's a weird number. I haven't dug into the total enough to understand why it is what it is. So it's
does Oregon have a defense that can shut them down?
I mean, they're the number 3 team in the nation. They shut down Penn State pretty good. I don't remember what the final score is in that game, but they beat Penn State pretty handily. It wasn't like it was a crazy game. But I mean, I'm gonna look up something really quick. Let's see what. Yeah, so I mean, they put Penn State put up 24 against them. The game actually went to 2 overtimes. So in the actual regular time of that game, Oregon only scored 6, so it was 17-17 in regulation.
Right.
So maybe their defense is pretty solid. You know what I mean? So that could be why that number's come down a little bit. But we got to see. I got to dig. I don't like speaking on plays that I haven't done enough digging into. Just based on the eyeball test, I would expect the number to be bigger, but I got to dig in a little bit to give you a good answer there. What sports book did you see that 7.5 at? Okay. All right, let's do it. All right, let's get into some NFL, and we'll close it out with some NFL. I went all dogs last week, AJ. I think you remember. I think I went Jags. I went Jags and whoever played the Eagles. Was it the Broncos, I think, correct? Yeah. So I went with 2 3.5 point dogs last week. I'm going with 2 favorites this week. You saw what happened with the Cardinals player and the coach smacking him and stuff like that. You saw that? Okay. So I just think that absolutely destroys the locker room. I mean, I just think that it's going to create locker room issues, whether it be the players don't want to play for the coach or there's just some disagreements or discrepancies. I think it creates a cloud, kind of like this cloud this film that's over my screen here. It creates a cloud, and these Colts are on point. They're second in the league in scoring. They're 4th in the league in passing yardage. They're 9th in the league in rushing yardage. They're ranked 3rd defensively in scoring. So they're they're putting up the second most points in the league, and they're allowing the third least points in the league. This team's the real deal. I mean, I don't know how many more games it's going to take for people to understand that this team is the real deal. Sometimes lines are overreactions to what happened last week, but this Colts team has been doing it all year. And this Cardinals team, I think, is in disarray. I mean, this coach, he definitely came down a peg after getting fined. It's not like it was officially recognized by the NFL that he did something wrong because they fined him a good amount of money. I think $100,000. Not as much as Jerry Jones got fined for flicking off a fan.
Yeah, I can. You just can't do that if you're the owner. Yeah,
he got fined $250,000, and then but regardless, I just think that Arizona is just, there's certain teams that find ways to lose games. They've been a team like that this year. So yeah, I like the Colts. Same thing, -6.5. Not playing it at 7. Never playing it at 7. Ever.
I think the Colts are a team that right now is just a little bit overlooked, and people are going to wake up to it.
People are going to wake up to it. They're going to start talking more about them. And they're starting to wake up to it already. People are like, okay, people are starting to recognize it. Yeah, this line, just so you know, this line's and then 7 -115 on other books. So once again, guys, get this to 6.5. I can't, and listen, I'm not going to go in every week. Yes, there's guys on this side of the sports betting world who will absolutely try to rip into me for buying that half a point. And there's other guys that do it all the time. I just think with NFL, with how tight these games are and how tight these lines are, these half points come into play way more than people realize. So I'm always going to take advantage of them when I can.
Okay.
Game number 2 for NFL, Drake May, baby. What a stud that this guy, Scotty was on the show last week. He gave out the Patriots. I agreed with him on that play. I'm loving what I'm seeing from them. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Drake May. Last week, I started to love what I see from Stephon Diggs, even though I've heard some very weird stuff about that guy involving some of the similar stuff that some of our politicians do, drugs and strange sexual deviances. We'll just leave that at that. I watched some crazy.
Are you judging me right now?
What?
Are you judging me?
Well, you're telling me at the beginning of the show that you were just getting done hanging out in a dark alley with 14 crackheads. So listen, to each their own.
Hey, yeah.
But no, Stephon Diggs. I don't know if you saw, he had that bag of the pink powder when he was on a yacht preseason. Then he gets Cardi B pregnant. But then he comes to this game against his old team, and he was just fired up. He put up 144 yards, I think like 10 receptions. He just went off. And that really shows you, AJ, that these players, so many of them do not play to their full potential every week. They have so much more to give, and they just don't give it, some of them. Like when sports, and you wonder why they were so long, it's because he gave it every single week. He didn't need that. Like Stephon Diggs was clearly motivated by the fact that he was playing his old team, and it caused him to level up. The true greats, they're able to level up every game and maintain that level for their whole career, or most of their career. The difference between the greats is they might have one off game a year or 2 off games a year, but the other guys who aren't great, they only have 2 or 3 games a year where they bring it up to that level. So, but anyway, Patriots, I love what I'm seeing from them. We were talking about Vrabel, very rare thing in pro football. He waited in the tunnel, and as he gave each player a greeting when they won that game against the Bills before they went back to the locker room. He waited in that tunnel and gave each player like a high five, hug. Every single player. This is football. There's 53-man roster, right? 53 players, and then all the assistant coaches got that treatment from him. And I think they're definitely building something special there. And also, they're 2-0 on the road, so the road doesn't affect them. They're 2-0 on the road. They get the job done on the road. The Saints stink. The Saints won last week against a giant team. I was surprised by by that margin of victory, but they still stink. It doesn't change anything. And their secondary's decimated right now. And with the way Drake May's playing, I mean, if you watch the replay of that Buffalo game, some of the passes he made were incredible. Like absolutely, Patrick Mahomes level, running this way, throwing across his body, 40 yards down the field. The hardest throws, the hardest throws in football to make, he was making them. So I have high hopes for his future. I think I'm on 2 favorites this week. They're probably public plays. I haven't even looked. I didn't want to like psych myself out because I'll look at a play, I'll love it, and then I'll see that 90% of the public's on it, and I'll be like, oh shit, But I didn't want to do that for these plays. But now we got a couple minutes here. I'm just going to do that really quick and try to get some ideas here. See how public these plays are.
There's a lot of, when I scroll through this week's games, I mean, these are just quick hits.
Yeah, they're pretty public.
Like Denver -7 against the Jets. Seems.
The Jets.
Yeah, I know
bad,
it seems, good. And I think Denver's pretty good. I also, the Chargers 4 with Miami. Miami's horrible. Miami's just as bad as the Jets.
Yeah, but the Chargers have been having some issues lately. Like, I don't know if you saw their performance last week. It was pure shit. Their new rookie running back, who's been really good, who I actually have on my fantasy team. My round 2 pick, Omarion Hampton, he's out for 4 weeks. So they have some injuries. They have some issues. And, look, Miami stinks, but Miami was up 17-0 last week. I actually ended up betting them on the money line. They're up 17-0, AJ. And they just blew it. I'm not saying that they're good, but I mean they can put together some flashes. So I don't think that's a crazy line. I don't think either of those lines are off. I think 7 points is a lot. I mean, yes, Denver is clearly much better, but in the NFL, 7 points is a lot.
Here's a
you have one.
Good, I'm sorry.
No,
coming out game this week, because I think this, and you mentioned this team already. And I think this team is way better than anybody's giving them credit for. And they haven't realized it yet. You got Seattle coming into Jacksonville. Jacksonville's only -1. I think Jacksonville is a really good team. And people are just, they haven't jumped on that bandwagon yet.
Well, I was on that bandwagon last week. I can tell you that. Let me see what the line did here. So they opened up as 1 point favorites. It's actually come off. Public's on Seattle. The thing is, here's the problem with Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence is he shows flashes of great play, and he makes a lot of mistakes, AJ. He makes a lot of mistakes, a lot of bad interceptions. So I think people, the odds makers included, they want a little bit more proof from him before they start setting these guys as big favorites.
I think they're going to.
Well, we need it. Because even like he made some throws in that Monday night game that was just like, were you trying to give the game away or what? But he also made amazing plays, also amazing throws and amazing runs. I mean, I think he got like 70 yards on the ground. So, there's definitely room for improvement, but I think we need to see more consistency from him, and then you'll start to see those lines getting a little bit bigger. Seattle's still not a bad team. They're not great, but they're not a terrible team.
Now, let me volley one more at you. Detroit, who I think we're both on as top team here, going into Arrowhead, and the Chiefs are -2. I don't know. I just kind of see Detroit destined for the Super Bowl and on a mission, and nothing that they've done so far this year has shown me anything different.
Sunday night play, I'll give it to the people. I was actually going to give this on my Instagram and tell people to go there, but I'll just give it to them right now. I love Detroit in this game. I've been betting against the Chiefs all year, and it's worked out for me for the most part, besides the game against the Ravens. So I've been betting against the Chiefs all year. I think they're like 1-4 against the spread. I'm going to continue to bet against the Chiefs and see what comes of it.
Awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
That on my awesome. So where do we need to? So yeah,
like I said, like I said in the beginning, the easiest place to go, the best place to go to find us, what we do, the podcasts we do, the different shows. Like I'll post clips from this show up when you put them up. I'll repost them. The best place to get it all in one ecosphere is going to be Instagram. It's going to be _profits, PROPHETS. We're going to have a QR code for you guys next week. The profits _pick, no S after pick. Make sure you look for the blue check mark. There's probably about 20 pages out there that are trying to imitate me, they're taking literal videos of me and reposting them on their Instagram, and then they're inviting people into like a Telegram and trying to charge them, $30 a month. We're a lot more expensive than that, number one. But number two, if it doesn't have the blue check mark, I can't say it enough. If it doesn't have the blue check mark, it's not us.
And people should odd shop. They should have multiple books. And I know that I don't know if it's your preferred, but a book that you guys like to.
I like the offer. I like the offer for BetMGM. I think that if you have the money, you should definitely sign up and take advantage of this offer. Because think about it. If you have $1,500, let's say you only bet $200-300 a game, but you have $1,500 to deposit, and you deposit that $1,500, or even it doesn't have to be. You could do $500. You could do $100. Doesn't matter what the number is. They're gonna. If that first game you bet, so let's say you go all in. Let's say you take the first play I gave you for tonight, which is going to be, what was it? Sam Houston. So let's say you put $1,500 on Sam Houston +8, and it wins, great. You double your money close to. But if it doesn't win, you're getting back 5 $300 bonus bets to bet anything you want all weekend. You can use more than one on the same play, or you can spread all 5 on 5 different bets. So it's really like a 2 shots to win with one amount of money.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Like imagine if you had imagine if you had that in blackjack. Like here's a $2,000 chip. Go sit at the table. If your first hand loses, you get $400 or $500 chips back to keep betting with. You have to bet with them. You can't just cash them out. You have to bet with them. Like it's a no-brainer. But some people that don't have a ton of money, they like the offer of bet $5, get $200 better because they only have $5. So they're going to put $5 in. They're going to make their bet. They're going to get 200 in bonus bets. So for small dollar players, I can understand why the BetMGM promo isn't the most glamorous. But for a guy that can basically deposit anything over, a couple $100 for your first deposit, it's the way to go.
Awesome.
Yeah. Let's see if we could do this 3 weeks in a row, AJ. 3 big winning weeks in a row where we only lose like 0 or 1 game.
Of course we can. This is who we are.
Yeah.
People
I don't like to get too excited. But yeah, I'm fired up. We got hockey starting. We'll start talking about hockey a little bit more next week. Kind of want to see how the first week or two go. Kind of get the lay of the land before we really start digging into it. Even though I'll just throw this out there, I am looking at the Kraken tonight. I'm looking at it, so just keep that in mind, guys. If you want a little hockey play to bet on, I think that would. I'm not firing off anything big, nothing crazy, because it's just getting started. But that is the one I'm looking at tonight, Seattle.
And anything in these baseball playoffs that you want to talk about, or no?
No, I have a future on the Mariners going deep. A buddy of mine had a big future on the Yankees. So Zach Smacks, a colleague of mine in the industry, he had a ticket for like $1,000, and it was, I think, the Panthers. It was like 3 different things. It was like the Panthers to win the Stanley Cup, something else, like maybe whoever won the MVP, or it might have been OKC. So yeah, I think it was OKC, the Panthers, and he needed the Yankees. So his parlay got killed last night. But no, I mean, honestly, these Dodgers look unstoppable.
Don't say that. All my eggs are in Philly's basket. I have a payoff that if the Phillies win the World Series, that will probably pay 2 years worth of my kids' tuition.
It's
So
2-1 right now.
It's 2-1 right now. Yeah, Philly.
I'll be
had a good
rooting.
game.
I'll be rooting for you, AJ. I will.
So we're back next week at
Next week,
same time.
same time, 2:00, guys. Peace out. Make sure you check out the Instagram. If you need a place to bet, go to BetMGM. We love you guys. Thank you for watching. And hey, if there's anything you guys want to know about, leave some comments on these videos so AJ can let me know, and then I can let you know.
There were a bunch, and I was asleep at the wheel, but this Miami Dolphins thing. Well, I don't know. I guess they were relevant when we were talking about the topics.
Okay, they usually are, but
yeah.
Hey, love you guys anyway.
All right, I'll catch you in the club at the rave shortly.
There you go. Oh, we gotta find a video to match. We gotta find like a movie scene to match that song. Not this one, but the opening one.
All right, we'll find it. All right, have a good weekend, everybody. Win big.